Mike Washington Jr. is the best running back in this 2026 NFL draft outside of Jeremiah Love. Now, this man, Mike Washington Jr., 6'1", 223 pounds, and ran a 4.33 40 at the NFL Combine. That is a ridiculous combination of size and speed that not many running backs in the history of the NFL have. Washington scored a 9.87 out of 10 relative athletic score at the Combine, ranking 29th out of 2,153 running backs, okay? This is an elite running back athlete who doesn't have a ton of tread on his tires as well. Just 587 career college carries over 5 college seasons. For some context, someone like Jonathan Taylor had near 1,000 carries in 3 years of his college career. So Washington is a big, fast, explosive, and fresh running back heading into the NFL. That is very exciting for somebody who is going to draft Mike Washington Jr. in this draft. Now, he's a one-cut runner. He's best suited for inside zone and gap concepts because he gets downhill fast and with conviction. He can run you over or he can run by you, as we saw at the Combine. And like we saw in the SEC last year, leading the entire conference in 20-plus yard plays last year. Again, leading a conference like the SEC in explosive plays is something that you can hang your hat on if you're Mike Washington Jr. And he also can catch passes out of the backfield and has reliable hands. Now, he's got some issues with ball security and pass protection. Those are two things that NFL coaches really hate that their players struggle with. So maybe he struggles getting on the field, especially on third downs. And he's not the most shifty or elusive back in the world. You can kind of see that both in the box when he needs to make defenders miss. He struggles with getting defenders to miss on that first move. And he also struggles in his route running out of the backfield, which is still not there yet either. However, again, when we're talking about running backs, bet on the tools, okay? And you can coach the rest. You can coach his elusivity. You can coach his footwork on route running, okay? Mike Washington Jr. has the tools to be a big-time producer right away, especially on early downs. You could give him 15 to 20 carries a game with the ability to make a big play at any moment with his size and with his speed. For comparison, and again, at this first glance, this is the running back that I saw at first glance when I saw Mike Washington Jr. Again, big, fast running back playing at Arkansas. I was like, bro, looks like Darren McFadden. That's the first thing that I saw when I saw Mike Washington Jr. Then I dove a little bit deeper. McFadden, 6'1", 220, a 4.33 40. Mike Washington Jr., 6'1", 223, a 4.33 40. So they're almost identical as far as size and speed goes. Now, these guys are not nearly identical as prospects because Darren McFadden was one of the greatest college running backs that we have ever seen. And Mike Washington Jr. spent his first 4 seasons at Buffalo and New Mexico State, having not got any more than 800 yards at either of those places. And he had 1,000 rushing yard season in college. So again, these are not the same type of prospects. However, I think Washington could go on to have an even better pro career than Darren McFadden had because McFadden was injured a lot of his time in Oakland and in Dallas, and he also just didn't, in general, live up to the expectations of a top 5 overall pick running back that McFadden was. So for Mike Washington Jr., I think a team like the Seattle Seahawks, who run zone concepts a lot, they just lost their number 1 running back in Kenneth Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs, could bring in a similar type of runner in Washington for their early down roles before Charbonnet takes over on those third down and goal line carries. So if you want a good running back, again, to come in and give you explosive plays, Mike Washington Jr., that is a running back that your team should draft a month from now. Anything from the late 2nd round to the early 4th round of the NFL draft. But fellas, I got to kick it to you guys. What do you guys think about this running back class here in 2026? Who do you guys got your eye on?
I think there's some gems. Obviously, Love is the grade A name, right? That's the guy. There's a lot of other guys, I think, that are kind of hidden in this class that probably aren't getting the love they need to. And one of them, I think, is Emmett Johnson. I think Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska is a stud. Doesn't quite have the speed of Mike Williams Jr. He only ran a 4.56. We still saw him house quite a few kicks in college, right? Like he ran away from people. His first 10 yards is probably the most incredible, where we saw, I think that one of the most explosive 10-yard acceleration points where he accelerates to almost 17 miles an hour in the first 10 yards. Like he's got an incredible burst. You see that in his 20-yard shuttle and his 3-cone drill. 20-yard shuttle, he ran in 4.29. And 3-cone, he ran in 7.32. So those are really, really good numbers. Shows real good change of direction. You saw that in his change of direction stuff. You throw the tape on. You watch Emmett Johnson. He has some insane cuts. He finds lanes. He trusts his offensive line. And it doesn't matter if it is a full tunnel or just a little bit of a gap. He's going to find a way through the offensive line. You saw it multiple times where he just explodes right through and just gains and eats up yards, right? And he's into the second level before, defenses even know what happened to him. He's 5'11", 200. A lot of people are considering him an every down back. He catches the ball really well, runs the ball really well, had 1,400 yards 1,451 yards to be exact, 5.8 per, 12 rushing touchdowns, an additional 3 receiving touchdowns, right? He led the team in receptions. Granted, it's Nebraska. They don't throw the ball a lot, but when your running back's leading you in receptions and giving you 1,400 yards on the ground, that is a guy you want on your team. In fact, a lot of teams, there's quite a few big name teams that are looking at him right now. The Denver Broncos, Chiefs, Saints, and Raiders have all met with him, including the Minnesota Vikings have met with him either during the combine or in the pro day process or had him on visits. So he's getting the attention that a player of his caliber deserves. And I think that he's going to go probably, I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Vikings uniform in all honesty. I think that he would be a great addition to that Vikings team. Just his 3-down presence there would be incredible. You wouldn't really need to spell him that much. He was a workhorse at Nebraska. He can be a workhorse in Minnesota.
Yeah, both the running backs you guys mentioned are some of the running backs that definitely the Miami Dolphins will be looking towards drafting because Devon Achane might be gone. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about something more positive, like Nick Singleton, all-time leader in touchdowns at Penn State, obviously. Now, Nick Singleton is a freak athlete. Okay, this guy's this 6 feet, 220 pounds, and runs a 4.35. Okay, that is some insane strength and speed. He gets to top speeds in a hurry. He erases pursuit angles like this. Like, he's really good at that. And he also runs angry through contract, so he's good in short yardage situations. So at the goal line, he's definitely going to be used if he does get drafted by a particular team. Maybe a team like the Lions, who are going to be missing their knuckles since David Montgomery is going to be gone. I think a guy like Nick Singleton would definitely help. He also is very safe with the football. He didn't have a single fumble in his last year, and I think that is very, very important. You want a running back that can take care of the football. The only problem with Nick Singleton is the injuries for sure, but I think there's so much speed and physicality with Nick Singleton. I also think his change of direction, I know a lot of people, there's some negativity towards that. If you tweak that, this guy can be like, he can go from a Jaden Blue to a Kenneth Walker like this, okay? If he can fix that up. Now, the only problem is, can he stay healthy? I also think some underrated traits that he has. Soft hands. He's also a very good blocker. He squares up with blitzers very, very well. With Nick Singleton, I don't see a primary back. I don't see an every down back. I don't see that at all. I do see a blend of power and speed that you can utilize on third down for passing downs, maybe for draws, and as a pass catcher, maybe off the backfield. I think there are so many things that Nick Singleton can do well that can be productive, but there's just so much like questions now because of he took so long to get out of college. There's so many questions now that I don't think the Kenneth Walker would have been the comp. I'm sold on this. Kenneth Walker would have been the comp in 2024. And I'll go as far as to say I see some Jonathan Taylor, a little bit of Jonathan Taylor, a little bit, not completely, Joe, a little bit of Jonathan Taylor. But unfortunately, this last year kind of like erased that because like he shows flashes, but he doesn't show it. I think Kenneth Walker can be his ceiling. I think he has a floor of Jaden Blue. Look, Nick Singleton in the right system, I think can be really productive.
I think he could be. I think you mentioned his running mate though, Kaytron Allen, and yes, I think Kaytron Allen is probably another one of those gems back there. He's not going to blow anyone away. You know, they're expecting a 4.56, 4.62 40-yard dash. However, this man has never averaged less than 5 yards a carry. Like 5.2 in 2023, 5 in 2024, and 6.2 this year. Guy set Penn State record for rushing yards. Let that sink in for a second, right? That's all Big Ten first team, All-American third team running back Kaytron Allen, and you know where he's on the big board right now per PFF? 159.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.